There are signals that solve puzzles, signals that validate hypotheses, and then there are signals that shatter the framework entirely. Signals that make scientists stop mid-explanation, fall silent before their screens, and quietly wonder whether humanity has stepped beyond a boundary it was never meant to cross. For more than 46 years, Voyager 2 has drifted alone through the vacuum of deep space. And now, it has transmitted something that belongs in that final category. What arrived through NASA's Deep Space Network wasn't the familiar plasma vibrations, solar reverberations, or interstellar shock signatures recorded before. This time, embedded within a faint whisper of radio energy that traveled over 12 billion miles, were patterns, structured, layered, rhythmic pulses. Even more unsettling, the signal came after Voyager 2 had been silent for 7 months. After NASA painstakingly realigned the camera antenna against overwhelming odds. After nearly every onboard instrument had long surpassed its intended lifespan. The transmission came when the spacecraft should have been quiet. It originated from a region where no probe has ever remained stable, where the sun's influence collapses and the raw environment of the galaxy takes over. And the tone from the mission team says everything. Voyager 2 didn't merely send data. It delivered something that feels like a whisper, a warning, perhaps even a message from deep space itself. Tonight, we trace the journey from the twin probe's launch to the moment this new signal reached Earth. And we explore why this single fragment of radio energy has left NASA both captivated and deeply unsettled, unable to explain what Voyager may second have encountered. But to understand the transmission, we must first understand the machine behind it. That story begins with a planetary alignment, so rare it occurs only once every 176 years. In 1965, when space exploration was still more dream than discipline, a graduate student named Gary Flandreau uncovered something extraordinary. With little more than a pencil and an instinct for orbital mechanics, he realized that Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune were drifting into a gravitational configuration that would form a kind of cosmic staircase. A spacecraft could leap from one giant to the next, using gravity as a slingshot. A journey that would normally take 3 decades could be compressed into just 12 years. When NASA grasped the significance of Flandreau's discovery, the agency quietly shifted its strategy. 2 machines were built to exploit this fleeting corridor, not merely to tour the outer planets, but to escape the solar system itself. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 were born from that cosmic opportunity. Designed to climb gravity like a ladder, they would reach worlds never before seen. Yet no one fully realized that this same alignment would send them on trajectories deep into the interstellar medium, into regions where the sun's dominance fades and only the galaxy's untouched environment remains. The alignment that enabled the Grand Tour also made this transmission possible. Voyager 2 launched on August 20th, 1977, a modest spacecraft wrapped in gold insulation, powered by plutonium decay, and guided by computers less capable than today's digital watches. And yet it became one of humanity's greatest explorers. It endured Jupiter's radiation storms. It navigated Saturn's rings. It passed the frozen strangeness of Uranus. And it remains the only spacecraft ever to visit Neptune, observing its sapphire atmosphere and the great dark spots swirling beneath methane blue clouds. It discovered moons, rings, volcanoes, nitrogen geysers, violent winds, and mysteries that still challenge astrophysics. Then, with its cameras powered down and its final images stored away, Voyager 2 crossed the Heliosphere, the boundary marking the end of the sun's domain, and entered interstellar space. Since that crossing, it has whispered across unimaginable distances, its signals taking 18 hours to reach Earth. But as it traveled deeper, its power waned. NASA powered down heaters. Instruments were shut off. Non-essential systems were sacrificed one by one to keep the spacecraft alive. In 2020, contact was lost for 7 months. When communication was finally restored, something had changed. Data appeared inconsistent. The probe's orientation had subtly corrected itself, and strange anomalies began surfacing in its measurements. The same anomalies now reappearing in the latest transmission. When Voyager 2 crossed the heliopause, scientists expected a gradual transition, a soft merging of solar wind with the interstellar medium. Instead, it encountered turbulence. Pressure waves struck the spacecraft. Plasma density spiked beyond predicted limits. Magnetic fields twisted sharply and unpredictably. Even more perplexing, the boundary behaved differently than it had for Voyager 1. Thinner, more active, as if disturbed. Once fully beyond the heliosphere, Voyager 2 began detecting something unexpected, a low-frequency hum resonating through interstellar plasma. It was too steady to be random noise, too structured to be natural turbulence. It pulsed, shifted, rose and fell with an underlying rhythm. Over time, that hum evolved, and in the newest transmission, it changed dramatically, as if something in that distant medium had stirred or responded. During the 2020 blackout, NASA attributed the silence to a misalignment at the camber dish. Yet when Voyager reconnected, the spacecraft had adjusted its orientation with striking precision, despite aging systems that should no longer allow such autonomous correction. Soon after, the anomalies intensified. Magnetic field lines bent in smooth, symmetrical distortions, resembling the wake behind a ship. Plasma oscillations surged in perfect intervals, some synchronized eerily with Voyager's own engineering transmissions. That should not happen. Plasma does not echo spacecraft telemetry. Yet within the latest transmission, harmonics emerged, patterns resembling Voyager's own rhythm, subtly mirrored back. Engineers also observed a brief stabilization in transmission strength before the signal was sent. The probe behaved as if it had received a temporary boost, something theoretically impossible for its aging power systems. When the Deep Space Network received the new data, the carrier tone was unusually stable. Embedded within the stream were repeating sequences and timing intervals that did not match Voyager's telemetry cycle. Some pulses appeared to originate from outside the spacecraft. Intentional silences divided the pulses into clusters, like headers in a digital file, repeating every 3.2 minutes, precisely matching Voyager's engineering log cycle. Whatever responded understood Voyager's timing. Doppler analysis revealed something even more startling. Some pulses were moving smoothly, predictably, suggesting mass repositioning near the probe. At one moment, the Doppler shift changed abruptly, coinciding with a magnetic distortion recorded simultaneously. Something moved near Voyager 2, and the probe recorded its wake. As analysts overlaid plasma oscillations, Doppler data, magnetic distortions, and signal anomalies, a pattern emerged. The probe was not alone. In the final moments of the transmission, a sequence appeared that mirrored Voyager's own outgoing signal, almost perfectly, yet with deliberate refinements. Not a reflection, not interference, a reply. The final pulses were clean, symmetrical, purposeful, and they ended with one last measured silence, the same duration as the header pauses before each cluster. A beginning, a message, an ending. When NASA assembled the full timeline, the implication was unavoidable. Voyager 2 did not simply transmit data. It transmitted evidence of movement, of response, of structured interaction. Not with a comet, not with plasma, not with debris, but with something capable of approaching a 46-year-old spacecraft moving at 35,000 miles per hour and communicating in its own rhythm. Something waiting in the dark between stars. The transmission is no longer just an anomaly. It reads like a message. And now the question becomes unavoidable. What caused it? Do we answer? Do we transmit again? Or do we wait for whatever comes next? If this revelation unsettled you as deeply as it has shaken NASA's network, don't fade quietly into the background. Subscribe, because what unfolds next could redefine our understanding of the cosmos. Like this video, so more people grasp the magnitude of what may have just occurred. And tell me in the comments, was this transmission a greeting, a warning, or the beginning of something far greater than we are prepared to face? I'd love to hear what you think about this, so drop a comment below. If you enjoyed our conversation today, please share this video and subscribe to help the channel grow. Every bit of support counts.